I think I am probably like ill-equipped to do this. I don't think I'm a great interviewer. I
I
think
think
I
it's true.
I I tend to make shit about me, and I've already sworn. Like I'm sweary, and I have a hard time staying on one train of thought, and I lack professionalism. But God damn it, I'm gonna give it a shot.
To be fair, if you've read the book, that's pretty much how that goes as well.
Right.
So
This
I
is
think you're
perfect.
perfect. Yeah.
So I'm a blonde fat guy, so like I'm perfect to do an interview
Yay.
about John
Yeah.
Candy. That's
No.
So tell us about the book. So you
I've
wrote,
I've written a book.
yeah,
Yeah, I've written a book about John Candy, and that's how we met. Because
yeah,
I've
we
been
met
writing it for a long time.
our shared love of John Candy. When did you
Yeah.
start?
About 7 years ago. It took
Wow.
it, it took a lot longer than I expected.
But
For
that was like the
certain
the
reasons.
nugget of like now I want to write a book but you
Yeah.
this is a biography. You had to do research and everything else.
Yeah, there was a lot of work to do, and there was a lot of convincing people that they actually wanted to speak to me. And some people who'd said 2 years previous said yes, sort of a few years later to being interviewed. So, although it took a long time, I kind of reaped the benefits of that. And there was personal reasons why it took a long time as well. Like there was illness and things just get in the way, and I'm not getting paid to do it, so you need to do a job. But yeah, I eventually got there. I've got a copy of the book. Look, to do promo.
I should have brought a copy with me. I'm
Buy my
I'm
book.
horribly ill prepared to do this. I'm
No,
a
don't be
terrible
silly.
interviewer.
No, don't be silly at all. But yeah, so it's finally out there. So, which I had about 2 minutes of pride, and then I've just been a great big ball of anxiety ever since.
Why? I mean, people are enjoying it.
Yeah, some people are, not everybody. I mean, some people are either loving it or they're liking it, and then there's the odd person that absolutely hates it. But that's with any book, right? I mean, you can be the ripest, juiciest peach, and you'll still find someone that hates peaches.
I mean, people hate the Bible, and God wrote that book, so
I
you're
don't
not gonna
know.
please everybody.
No,
I've
it's true.
I've only seen the one negative review that I think you shared where you replied to the guy. He had a grammatical error in there, and that was fantastic.
Only because he was picking on my grammar. That was it. If
Yeah,
you're going to pick on my grammar, if you're going to be a grammar twat, get it right.
right.
Because I'm not, I'll let things go. But if you're going to be a grammar twat,
Have you
you've
sent
got to do it right.
some copies off to like some of the people you had interviewed? Like,
Yeah,
yeah, any
yeah,
feedback from any of them?
yeah. And I mean, I'm still in the process of sending them because obviously I'm in the UK and it takes 2 weeks to get there, and also I haven't made any money yet, so I'm buying the books and I'm sending them postage wise, and that's quite expensive.
Right.
I'm doing it bit by bit, but Joel Hellmeyer from the SCTV days, and he was the costume designer for John and looked after him on Cool Runnings as well. And he read it and he said he cried at the end and that he loved it. And I was like, do you know what? If nobody else says anything, that's brilliant. Because I met Jewel last year. I went to Toronto. I didn't feel like I could write the book about John without kind of going walking and seeing some of the places that he went to and where he
Yeah.
lived. Um, yeah, I met Jewel and I loved him instantly. And for him to say he liked it was big. And for Rob Salem to say he liked it and write the forward for me, because he was a good friend of John's as well, that was big. So I had those two people that sort of gave me the confidence, really. And then there's friends that'll go, oh, yeah, it's great. But it's the reviews of people that you don't know that actually go, I really love this. That makes the difference. But you still focus on the bad ones. I don't know why you do it, but you do.
Yeah.
And I'm not a writer by trade. So it really was a labour of love. And I kind of put in the first sort of chapter, I'm not a writer by trade, so it's not gonna, but it's written with love, and that's true. Yeah, some people still don't like it, but that's okay. It's written with love.
I don't know how to get around that, but I'm definitely the same kind of person. Like I focus on the negative. Like I want everybody to like me. So if I'm in a room of 14 people and 13 of them like me, I'm like, why? What the fuck is the matter with that guy? You know,
Absolutely.
it's just a negative perspective thing. I guess we got to get over that. You got to try and
Yeah.
focus on the people that love it. I guess.
It's hard, but yes, because no one's going to love everything all the time.
I'm
So,
curious if you'll hear from some of the people that declined the interview. So, I mean, for people who don't know, there was an original bio about John that
yeah.
was kind of shitty,
Well,
and
I've
that
kind of mellowed my opinion of that these days because I realise how hard it is to write a book now.
right,
But yeah, at the time, it kind of inspired me to write one because I just felt he was a bit mean-spirited towards John,
right.
really, and I thought John deserved more. But you can say shitty, that's fine.
I mean, yeah. So yeah, I mean, there were the people that declined interviews. So like Dan Aykroyd and a couple other people were nice to you, but were like,
Yeah.
after that, I'm not really. I'm curious if they'll come around or read this because I imagine they've got to be curious because they know you were coming at it with the intent of righting the wrong of this kind of like
Yeah.
negative book.
I
But
hope so. I mean, I hope so. And I will be working on a second edition. So I'm hoping that if any of those people did want to come and sort of give their story known from the angle I'm coming from now, I would hope that that would give them the confidence to come and talk to me. Because I would love to. I mean, I've got over 70 interviews for the book, but there's so many more people out there that have so many more stories that I would love to speak to. And there's somebody that I can't name at the minute, but his office, I was talking to him originally the first time around, but his production schedule didn't allow. And I've just sent him a book with a letter to his office, and they're going to pass it on for me. So I'm hoping for him. He's a really big one.
like big, like
I can't
size wise, another fat guy.
No. He might be really tall. He might be really big. I don't know. But yeah, no, yeah, so hopefully you never know. And so that's the thing, isn't it? A book's sort of kind of a living, breathing document, really. I think as soon as you publish it, something else happens and you could update it straight away. And I know I've changed it about 3 times since hitting publish just because I keep finding typos. There's
Right.
bastard typos that just keep sneaking in. Um, yeah, so I don't know, but hopefully a second edition, maybe next year. But I'm not going to put a time limit on it. I don't think. I don't tell people deadlines anymore because I seem to whiz past them. And
Yeah, just it'll happen when it happens. I think that's
yeah,
the best. That's the best for people like us. We're working
yeah,
on it. We'll get it done.
yeah. Come back to me. I'll let you know when it is. Yeah.
What's something you were kind of surprised to find out about John while doing the research for the book?
Oh gosh, I think when initially I was surprised to hear that he thought he was always going to die young, but that's going back quite a few years, and obviously I've got used to that over the years of writing the book. Um, but I think just his kindness. I mean, I always knew he was a nice guy, and we always think, oh, he's a nice guy on screen, and I bet he was a nice guy in real life. But just how nice he was is unbelievable. His kindness, the things he would do for people he didn't know. Just how beautiful he was, really. If I was sort of more into religion, I'd start a John Candy religion because he really knew how to treat people well, and he was just an all-round good guy. I mean, things like some guy was losing his flat, and his whole family were going to be made homeless. He was working in a security job, and John Candy heard about it, gave the guy a hug, and that guy found $10,000 in his pocket when he got home. Just things like
That's
that,
amazing.
beautiful things. Yeah, just beautiful things. He was just a lovely person. So not necessarily surprised, I guess, but yeah, just sort of humbled.
I love that that audio recording of that. There was that grade school kid that said he was going to interview John Candy,
Yeah,
and John actually made it happen, and he's got this adorable interview recorded of him asking John just like little kid questions.
yeah,
It's amazing that he did that. Like, yeah, kid, come on down to SCTV and like, hang out in my dressing room. Like, I'm sure that wasn't a great location for a little kid, but I love hearing stories like that, and I think that his acts of kindness are what have allowed his legacy to carry on so much, and why he means so much to people like you and I, because he was a good dude, and he did right by people. And in the end, like, people like this appreciate that.
Absolutely. Had we
That's
have met him,
important.
we would have been friends, you know that? We would have been best buds. We would have gone
Right.
out drinking with him. We would have had all sorts of fun, you know, and you just
Yeah.
know that that would have been a case and he would have looked out for you. When he made you his friend, you were his friend and he was so loyal. And Scott Edgecombe, who's the little kid who was 12 who interviewed him, he's
Yeah.
in the book. I've sort of got a chapter with him in saying, always meet your heroes. That's the title of the chapter.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't disappointed at all. And yeah, I just think it's just such a shame that he kind of passed away so early. I think he would have gone on for directing. I think he would have done more dramatic roles. I think he had a lot more to do in this world. But he did so much that his legacy is huge, you know. So
Yeah. I
lucky
mean,
for
he
us, he's
did
not-
a little bit of the dramatic stuff with, JFK, and
yeah,
he would have,
JFK was amazing.
yeah, it would have been, he's one of those people where, I miss him a lot to this day, because I think, what could he have been doing?
Yeah, I think everyone does. I think everyone still misses him. And Christmas comes round, and you have Thanksgiving, and Planes, Trains is on. Then you have Home
Yeah.
Alone, and then they put Uncle Buck on TV, and it just brings you home. You know, it just makes you feel safe and warm, and it's a classic, and you have to watch it. And I always bawl. I bawl at the end of Uncle Buck, which is a happy ending, but he does that smile and that wave, and it makes me cry. I
Right.
bawl at the end of Cool Runnings. It just like overwhelms me. And Planes, Trains, I cry like a baby. And so he makes me laugh and cry with just a turn of an expression, really. And I just think that's an amazing talent to have. And he's so subtle sometimes in the way that he does it. But he's just so human. Just bleeds his heart onto screen and puts a little bit of himself into everything, which is why we feel like we know him so well, because each character has a little bit of him in it. So yeah.
I have an unpopular opinion, I think.
Oh, what's that?
Home Alone is a remake of Die Hard.
It's not a remake of Die Hard. Are you going to go on with the whole Die Hard is a Christmas movie?
No, but Home Alone is Die Hard for children.
Is it?
I think it is.
You can give me this to go on. You tell me.
I don't have much to go on other than they both take place on Christmas. They're
Okay.
both pretty much based around one location, right?
Okay.
There's foot trauma in both of them, right? A barefoot man steps on glass in both of them. I think that I think they're very similar.
Do you really?
I
What
do.
about who would John Candy be in Die Hard? Who would Gus Polanski be?
He would be what was the cop that was
Oh, okay, the nice cop.
I don't think that really works out. You can't draw. I mean, this is one of those things you got to throw out the broad, bold a statement and then not back it up with anything but think about it. Think about it. That's it. You just got to drop that, think about it, and then walk away.
Okay.
There's like three similarities when you really think about it. But so what's next? What's the next book?
I can't tell you. Well, I can tell you off air, but I can't tell you on here. It's kind of connected. Yeah, it's kind of connected. It's a searching for somebody, but it's not actually a biography. I'm actually going to search for somebody. And when I find that person, I'm going to interview them about John Candy. So it's going to be more of a diary. I'm going to have to come over there. I'll finally meet you because I'll be coming to the US. And I will be stalking or researching and searching. Let's call it searching. Yeah, not stalking. A certain person who knew John well. And,
Ron Jeremy.
No, it always comes back to Ron Jeremy with you. I've only been for 2 years properly, and he's still talking about Ron Jeremy.
Here's what I think would have been fantastic. Right? If I could go back in time 7 years and talk to Tracey 7 years ago, I'd say record all of your interviews.
Yeah.
And release that as a podcast, and then at the end, release the book.
See, I did actually record a lot of the interviews. I have got a lot of the recordings of the interviews. It's possible that could be that.
Are they where you were recording?
I don't know if everyone was.
Oh yeah, we might get into a little weird.
There.
Tracey Morgan, author of John Candy Biography, sued left and right by Hollywood luminaries.
I just couldn't write that fast. The most, the most depressing one, which was a most like one of the most amazing ones, but it actually didn't record, was Carol Spinney, Big Bird.
Yeah.
Big Bird, and he even talked to me in Big Bird's voice. And luckily, I'd made notes because I always make notes, but I always just have it there just in case I forget anything. Yeah, and he spoke to me in Big Bird's voice and everything. Didn't record. I was gutted, absolutely gutted. Could not believe it. Yeah, so it doesn't always work out. I think if I remember, I tell them that I'm recording it. But I think with some of them, I was just so over the moon. They were talking to me, and I was just so flustered and just wanted to not mess it up that I forgot to mention. But maybe if I go back and go, I'm really sorry.
You cut around them.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think you meant to tell people you're recording them before you record them, right? You're not recording this, are you?
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I think the next one. I think that'll be great. I think I'm curious who you're searching for, but
I'll tell you afterwards. But yeah, unfortunately, because I think I kind of have to keep it under wraps until I've found them.
Right.
Either that or I make a big public thing and everyone's going to be searching for them for me, which might happen in the last 48 hours if I can't find them.
Yeah, I mean, you get everybody else involved in helping you track them down.
I think the problem with the person that I'm looking for is that it really depends on what mood they're in that day.
Right.
If I find them, it could go really wrong. They could end up being thrown in a swimming pool or something.
Donald Trump, isn't it?
No. No. But yeah, no, it could go either way. So fingers crossed.
All right, where do you make the most money when people buy your book? Which one nets you the most money? Do we do the Kindle version? Do we do the paperback?
To be honest, I'm just thrilled if anyone buys it. I'm in deficit at the moment, so I'm just really happy if anyone buys it and they enjoy it and they like it. I'll probably end up like giving stuff away, and I'll probably be making no money by the end of all this.
You're too nice for this. You're too nice for capitalism.
I'm the worst business person in the world. Seriously, I'm absolutely awful at it. But yeah, I think I'm struggling at the moment. I'm struggling to get people to write about the book and review the book. And I think it's because I'm just a nobody. And I'm like, okay, that's true. I am. I'm just a nobody. But this is about John Candy. John Candy. It's him. He deserves this. I don't. He does, and so I get really frustrated with that. I don't expect anyone to give me any attention, but John Candy, please.
I feel bad now. I haven't written a review yet.
No, that's okay. Have you actually read it?
I've read some of it. I have not read it all yet.
What did you think of the bits
I liked it. I mean, I was over the moon that it was done, and I felt like I was there for a lot of the process,
Yeah. You're in the thank you. Did you see the thank you?
Yeah, I'm in there twice. My Christian name and so somebody can go through there and cross-reference and figure out who I really am if they want. That'll be another fun selling point for the book. Figure out the real Christian name of Octopus Caveman.
There's quite a few names in there, though, and I did split them up, so it's not like you're not next to each other.
No, it was moving to see, like our group of friends and people from our little world in those thanks lists too.
Yeah, I hope I didn't miss people out. There's a hard part because but I'll get the second edition. It'll be okay.
Yeah.
So.
I'm concerned about leaving people out in the thank yous in the book that you wrote. Too nice.
No, not at all.
So Amazon's where I bought mine.
Yes, that's where everyone can get theirs from. It is available on a few other stores like Waterstones, and I think Barnes and Noble. It'll be available at some stage, but Amazon's the big one. That's where you can get it from.
You got to send some copies out to talk show hosts and stuff like that. Do that, the press kit,
Yeah, I need to. I've done bits. I've done some. I just get really disheartened when I get nothing back. but it's not about me. It's about John. So I need to keep going. As long as I don't let him down, that's the big thing, you know.
This is why I thought we could do something like this and do a video interview so people could see you, because when they see you and hear you, they'll like you, and then hopefully they'll, you know, and if they like John, they'll like the book.
Oh, bless you. Thank you.
Tell a friend or buy it for a fan, you know. I just
fingers crossed.
Yeah. I'm totally not the right choice for this, but
that's not true. That's so not true. Although we did start talking about your bowel habits as soon as the interview started.
No, it wasn't a great way to start.
Well, it's an opening.
We're at about 20 minutes. I think we should probably cut it off here.
Okay.
You want to plug your social media or anything before we go?
I think we should plug yours as well, because this will be going on.
Nobody gives a shit about mine. This is about you and your book and John. So buy Searching for Candy on Amazon. There it is. I think it's free if you're a Kindle member, or if you're
Kindle Unlimited, you can go and read it for free.
Don't do that. Buy the book, so that gives you money.
As long as they read it for John.
No, this
even
is
style. Even if you don't like the way it's written, you'll find some really lovely stories in there about him. So even if you're just a John Candy fan but you hate Tracey Morgan, then hopefully you'll still get something from the book.